You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I gotta tell you something I could do. I could be running around chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. About your mind tricks and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win this, it's a part of the game.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Vick, Victorious! Vick, Victorious!
Hey. Happy Friday, Junior. Welcome back to Dr. VICKtorious, where we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to show up fully human, especially from a Black perspective. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole Vick, aka Dr. VICKtorious. And, this episode, we're going to focus on this idea. Everybody to me seems tired. Like when I talk, how you doing? I'm tired. I am even tired. So tired that I have logged into this podcast every Thursday for how many years? And today I'm sitting there like, why the episode ain't started? I forgot to click the button to actually enter it. It would be the equivalent of, I have a Zoom meeting and wondering why the Zoom meeting hasn't started, but you ain't clicked into the Zoom meeting. So you used to sit and waiting for the Zoom meeting, but you ain't even clicked into Zoom. It's like that. And I was just sitting here like, what's going on? And it was me. And the producer is just so patient. He's like, I thought maybe you had did something else. I'm just sitting here like, hello. Woo! But we're struggling, especially as Black women. We're tired, not just like, I need to get some rest tired, although we do need to do that. Emotionally tired. I think we have some emotional drain going on. Spiritually tired, just drained all the way around. We continue to work and function. I think that's something that Black women do really well. To our detriment, though. We do it really well, but it's actually bad for us. So I want to talk through it. Some of it may sound like what I talked about last week in regards to Mother's Day, and that's fine because I like repeating myself. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time, so I'm finna say it again, and that's okay too, right? But we're going to dig into this episode and talk through some things, talk about stuff like racial battle fatigue and code switching and the impact those things have on our lives and how much it really costs us to hold literally like a juggler, holding all of these things at the same time. And something falls, what happens, right? You forgot your glasses on your head while at work and you was wondering why you couldn't see nothing. I've done that too. Like, wait, everything real blurry. Oh, my bad. Then I can see like, wow, everything is so bright and clear now. So let's go ahead into the stroll. I got some good ones. Woo! These first ones had me cracking up literally. Okay. So I don't know if y'all do, but I love it when you see brands, have a personality, right? They're not people, they're a brand. Wendy's sometimes will come on and say some stuff. I've seen other brands kind of have a personality on social media. And so here I am scrolling and strolling, looking around, and I saw Ritz. Ritz had something to say the other day. Now, as y'all know, Drake, which we don't really say that name over here on the West Coast. We really don't. But it's okay. He released a surprise triple album on May 15th. Iceman, Habibti, I don't even know how to say that, and Made of Honor. One is rap, one is R&B, and one is club and dance focused. 43 tracks, 149 minutes. Features from Future, Molly Santana, 21 Savage. But Ritz cracked me up. Ritz said 3 albums. Someone was salty and everybody went crazy, especially the Black contingent. Like, now Ritz, Jessica, Crackers. Was that necessary? Come on, you guys. You have to find that funny. It is hilarious. And just all kinds of commentary. Like, come on, you didn't have to say it like that. Hilarious. So I just had to share that because I felt like that was so funny and a very, very timely and appropriate message for Ritz. The personality came out. And to me, that was just hilarious. Like, yes, Cyrus, that was wild. And I had a chuckle and a giggle. And people was like, I'm finna go buy me some Ritz crackers today. Speaking of Ritz, my daughter had posted, I think they're Ritz brand, some kind of caramel drizzle, little mini crackers or something like that. I was like, whoa, what's that? So, I think that was timely and it was funny and it was perfect for the occasion. So, and if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be Ritz crackers, salt, salty, it's cracking up. All right, moving on to the next one. Oh, you've had those? Okay, I think they're at Walmart. The caramel drizzle Ritz crackers. So go check them out. We Ritz fans now because they make fun of Drake. That was funny. Next one, apology not accepted. So last week I told you that James Charles, who's an influencer, went cray, right? I guess a woman who had lost her job, right, got laid off from Spirit Airlines when they went under. Sent a message, a DM, hey, I need some help, whoop, 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 and a GoFundMe link. And instead of ignoring it, like I think most people probably would have done, no, some rant and rave about, ooh, you need to get a job, woo, 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 woo. And in his statement, he had said, oh, I wish I could find her message back when he apologized. He did the crappy, and then he apologized and said, oh, I can't find her DM anymore to respond. But I guess ultimately did find the DM, messaged this person back and donated. Now, so it turns out the person that was the person in question said, I don't accept your apology. I do not accept your apology. No, thank you. And, you humiliated me in public. So that apology, it needs to be a little bit more public. She don't accept the apology. She said, apology not accepted. I wonder if she sent that money back though. Question. We don't know. But definitely the public statement came out. It was on TikTok, the video and everything. So, you can't say stuff and be as mean and evil and harmful as he was and think that like it'll blow over. I'll even say this. I was looking on TikTok earlier. Jackie Aina had even had something to say. And y'all, if y'all know Jackie Aina, she doesn't really get into other people's business like that. She very much stays in her lane, with blinders on. This is my lane. I don't talk about really nobody else. But I think it was that bad that she was like, whoa, this man ain't never had a job that he had to clock into. How dare you? Like, so she had some words and I was like, dang, woo. So that was crazy. But she said, no, I don't apologize. I don't accept the apology. Move on and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So remember, I had suspected that this was all a fake thing. So maybe it's not a fake thing. Maybe this is real. I was thinking because he's coming out with some music, he kind of made this happen to draw attention. Sounds like maybe this is a real thing. This is about as much as I get into this kind of gossip because I really don't be caring about this kind of stuff. But this was just interesting, and I want to close the loop, y'all. I told y'all what happened. Now I want you to know that the lady has said she don't accept the apology. And then the last one, this one is much more serious, much more serious. History literally repeating itself. I often say my ancestors, and I happen to know my great grandmother, she died when I was 20. Her parents were enslaved, right? I always say they did not live and fight for what they fought for us to be going through these shenanigans in 2026. And yet here we are going through the shenanigans in 2026, literally. So this, I'm reading this from the Alabama Reflector. The events on May 16th deliberately invoked the civil rights movement in cities that featured some of its most famous moments and came just weeks after the U.S. Supreme Court targeted one of its major legacies. In Louisiana versus Calais, decided last month, the nation's high court weakened Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which bans racial discrimination in voting and election laws, by saying plaintiffs challenging maps under Section 2 would have to prove intentional discrimination, a significantly higher standard than the prior one. And from what I'm understanding, some states have already started to redistrict and redraw their maps to try to get to dilute majority Black districts and things. And all I'm gonna say, two things I'm gonna say. Wow, it's crazy. Who thought? We always see the picture from back in the day, walking across the bridge. We see that, but to see it in 2026, like, what in the world is going on? And the second thing I'm gonna say is, if you live in Los Angeles, you got your ballot. Everybody got a ballot. Please go vote. Voting, I don't know when they open the polls, I forget, but I know election day is June 2nd here in Los Angeles. Please vote, okay? Because if it didn't make a difference, why are they doing this? If it didn't matter, why are they doing this and working so hard to dismantle, right? Okay, Mr. On top of things, Kwame talking about mailed his last week. I have mine and I haven't mailed it. It's still sitting here. But I will say this, I am actually working the polls this year. I have to work 4 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'll be at a polling place in South LA. I don't know what they'll have me do. I have to take training, in-person training online, read through all the things. So let me just say this. I'm surprised. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, how technologically advanced voting has become. When I did it, worked the polls like maybe about 10 years ago, it was paper. Everything was paper and people had to sign things. Now it's all on the tablet and whoop, 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 and all this good stuff. So I was like, dang, what's all this? The printer, print the ballot out and da-da-da. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. How much Wi-Fi do we need to run all this stuff? But they figured it out, and it's real fancy dancy and efficient, which is also really, really important. So yeah, so make sure you show up, either mail your ballot. They have the little drop off where you can drop it off in the look like a little mailbox. You can drop it off at the polling place. You can do all sorts of things to get your ballot in. So please, y'all, because we got a governor race, we got mayor. If you live in Los Angeles, we got all kind of stuff going on. Please do not throw that ballot in the trash. Please vote, please. Do you see the desperation in my face? All right, y'all, let's go to commercial. We'll come back and talk about everything that we're holding right now in this moment, y'all. See you in a bit.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together, with coverage from thousands of outlets around the world in one place. So you can spot sensational reporting, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Beside every headline, you'll see who owns the source, how reliable it is, and if they have a political bias. Multiple perspectives side by side, giving you a well-rounded view of today's biggest stories. Visit ground.news to learn more.
We are back. Side note, that commercial, Ground News, that ad, very important. I think we have to think about where we're getting our information from, what bias it has, which way it's leaning, because oftentimes if we aren't quite clear on where the source of the information is coming from, we have an incorrect perception or understanding of a specific issue. So I would say use stuff like that. That's important. And they're one of our new sponsors, so that's also important, right? But for real, seriously, when things are happening in this country, and even not even just in this country, around the world, it's really good to have a balanced view of what's going on, the truth. This is what we saw. This is what we are witnessing, without the spin or the lean, one way or another. So you can, oh crap, like what's really going on? And I'll give you a quick example. When Katrina happened, remember when Hurricane Katrina happened? And, so a lot of folks left, but a lot of folks couldn't leave, right? For whatever reason, they couldn't. And, everything was flooded and folks were trying to make way, right? And so I remember seeing, and this wasn't a training I was in, but they were showing the difference in reporting. So if someone was in a store getting finding food from the store, they were one media outlet called it looting, versus another media outlet would say, oh, this person is looking for food, right? And so it's like, why? Hey, this is an emergency. This is a hurricane. There's a flood. There's no access to anything. Why are you characterizing this Black man as looting? I mean, to me, it's like we're not looting in this point in time. There's no food and we're hungry. So we're going to go, there's food in this grocery store, right? So sometimes how things are reported have a definite impact on your perception of what's happening in communities, around policy, all sorts of things. So really, really important. So I'm glad they are one of our sponsors now. Yay. All right, let's jump into this week's content. This episode is going to really explore emotional, psychological, and physical toll of constantly functioning under pressure while navigating stress, uncertainty, caregiving, racism, work demands, community responsibilities. Like I said earlier, we as Black women are used to carrying it all. Like literally, I think of Erykah Badu, bag lady. Like we got all this stuff. We can't move too much. We got too much going on, and we're trying to juggle it. And honestly, we really make it look easy. I think we don't really let people see the toll that it takes, but we got to be really honest with ourselves, right? We're surviving, we're producing, we're showing up every day, but we're carrying exhaustion that nobody really sees. They don't see it, and we're not honest enough or vulnerable enough to share and to be true and honest. Like, dang, I'm really going through it. Now, I'm the kind of person, I'm actually very vocal. So a lot of times people will really hear what I'm going through. Like, dang, I'm thinking about getting a second job because my good salary from my good day job right now is not enough. I just paid $80 to fill my gas tank and my feelings was hurt. And I've heard the same thing from other people. Like, it's actually worse for them. I have to put $80, $100 every week. My gas will last me 2 weeks. Some people are like, no, I got to put that much in every week. And I can't sustain it. Right. So I'm a little more honest with what's going on with me, but a lot of us are not. We kind of keep, cry in the closet, or we weep in the car. We don't tell nobody what's really going on. So we're all tired. All of us. Hey girl, how you doing? Girl, I'm tired. That's all I hear from people. And we have to name this collective exhaustion that we have. And one of the reasons why we are all collectively exhausted is because we are stressed out. We see the politics, and the politics nationally, locally, are causing some stress. Right now, I'm seeing things about the governor race here in California. I'm a little confused. I'm a little perplexed. I'm seeing endorsements that are like, what? Huh? What? Even in our local, if you're in Los Angeles, there's a mayor race coming up. Like, what? Same thing. What's going on? Economic instability. Our dollar is not traveling as far as it used to. And I think, like, even here in LA, we already know it's expensive here. And I think we have collectively, we adjust, right? We make it work for us. But it's gotten to a point now where it's like, whoa, no, for real, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, something's gonna not get paid. Gas prices have gone up. My utility bill, I live by myself. I'll just be perfectly candid with you. Why is my DWP bill $800? Oh, well, they went up on the sanitation costs. Okay, but what I'm supposed to do about that? What that got to do with me? Rising cost of living, uncertainty about the future, what's going to happen, social media overload. Like, we're constantly bombarded with information one way or another, and it can be very confusing. Nonstop bad news cycles, caregiving demands. If you are part of what we call the sandwich generation, some of us are. I'm well, am I? No, I'm not, because my daughter is grown. But some of us have younger children, and also our parents are aging, and so we're kind of in the middle trying to manage both. And then workplace pressure. And one of them workplace pressures is trying to stay employed. Okay. Trying to keep a job in the midst of what's very real, layoffs, especially for Black women. Hundreds of thousands of Black women have been laid off in the last year or so. There are more layoffs to come as funding goes down, or things happen with depending on what industry you work in. If you're in a nonprofit space, hey, there's no money, there's no funding. Or if you're in a for-profit, there's no customers, because can't nobody spend no money because they ain't got no money, right? So there's this all these things are happening at the same time. Woo! So yes, I'm tired, and I'm sure you are too. We're carrying individual stress inside collective instability. I think that we're all holding our own issues, but there's this sort of collective understanding that things ain't quite right. And where do we get back to stability? How do we get back to that space? And I'm seeing some comments here. I feel you. I got a good job, but New York is expensive and gas ain't helping. Yeah. See, and you are lucky. You have public transportation. Here in Los Angeles, we have public transportation, but I hear that it's not as robust. And I would agree, probably not as robust as in New York. But here's a side story. I'm considering, like, do I need to park the car and start back taking the bus and the train back to work? I promise my daughter I would not. Because she said, Mom, I'm not here. Something happened to you. I'm 6 hours away from you. I can't get to you. Something happens to you. But I'm like, baby, the gasoline is taking me out. The gasoline, the car insurance, thankfully the dang on car paid for. I ain't got to worry about that. But Jeezy Weezy. And I don't have no electric car. I still got to go to the gas station. So, oh no, man. Everything is crazy. So there's this difference, right, between functioning and actually being okay. And I think a lot of us right now are functioning and we're not okay, right? Our productivity, we may be overproducing, right? Because we're trying to make it happen. Like, how do I keep my head above water? But also you can have a situation where you're underproducing. Maybe you are depressed and you're sort of below and trying to just maintain, or just you're struggling. You may be overperforming or underperforming, trying to survive, and really not focusing on well-being. So when you are in a situation where you're trying to make do, a lot of the issues or concepts around well-being literally are last on the list. They are not first at all. They're way back. So things like rest, sleep, self-care, those things go to the bottom of the list, and other things make their way up to the top. And I mean, to me, I can't be mad at folks that make that decision. You have to do what you have to do, but there is a cost to making that decision. And in this this sort of persistent pressure to keep going. I titled my first book Pushing Through, right? Because I mean, a lot of us have been taught how to push through. We don't know any other way but to continue. But again, there's a downside to the pressure to keep going. I can't rest, got to keep moving, got to find this new job, got to find a second job, got to figure this all out, got to make these bills, make sure I pay all these bills. You can also, for us specifically, I think as Black women, we feel guilty when we try to slow down because we feel like we're letting someone down. Usually we're letting ourselves down, most importantly, but that's usually not the person we're thinking about. We're thinking about our kids. We're thinking about our parents. We're thinking about our job. If I slow down, I'm leaving them behind, or I'm not showing up for them. But you have to remember, if you ain't showing up for yourself, you're letting yourself down as well. I don't know, man. It really impacts us because I think we specifically have been primed to be those mules. I remember Vonda years ago when she was on my podcast said that Black women are mammy mule, and I forgot the other one. I always forget the third one, but that's that whole idea of being that workhorse. Like we're always moving, always performing, always caregiving, always helping. And again, that can cost us a lot. So that's kind of where we are. Like, we have to think about these things. When did exhaustion become normal? Why is that like our default? Why has it become that we feel bad for resting? When did resting become a bad thing? And what happens when you're always in survival mode and it becomes your lifestyle and you don't know anything else but that? What happens when you figure that out and like, wait, this isn't normal? You got to start thinking through those things. High functioning does not always mean healthy. Many people have adapted to chronic stress so thoroughly that dysfunction starts to feel normal. And if you're not self-aware, you don't realize it. Like, oh, shoot, this is not good. And I need to figure out how to get out of it, how to step away from it, how to ask for help, how to say no. So that you're not always in this mode of high functioning. Because think about it. If you have a car, so I have my little cute little car that I love. If I've gotten that car and I turned it on and I revved the engine and just revved it, just how long before that car fails? You just can't continue to run something into the ground and expect it to perform well. And I think the car is the perfect metaphor for that. And so what happens when we are in survival mode, we shut down emotionally, we become hyper independent. I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Also, too, because people tend to let us down. And so we're like, that's all right. I got it. But you can't continue to do that. You can't overwork yourself, brain fog, because then you start making mistakes. Hurt yourself. I think my ankle got broke because I was in a situation where my brain was just foggy and I'm just trying to do everything and boom, hit the ground. And that was the universe sitting my behind down, sit down. And it sat me down for literally 2 years. So also constantly worrying and you can't experience joy. Those things can really harm us. And being high functioning looks good from the outside, but it really is burning us down on the inside, which is so interesting because I know we always talk about Black don't crack and how Black women specifically look really good. You know, never know how old they are. There are Black women I know personally that I'm like, I know you're older than me, but I have no idea how old you are, because it's like we have this thing. But what I often remind my colleagues of, we often look good on the outside, but what the overperformance and the high stress is actually wearing us down on the inside. And that's actually what matters, Because if you're inside, just like with that car, you rev that engine. I mean, it's cute on the outside, but you done revved it up and it fails. Same thing with your body. So just want to make sure y'all are aware. I know a lot of you are, but we have to really start to think really deeply about how we will move away from this overperformance and holding the weight of the world, how we overperform at home, at work, everywhere, so that we can begin to make ourselves healthier. The other aspect we have to talk about, and then I'm going to start to kind of wrap up a little bit, is racism and the impact of racism on us and our bodies. We often experience racism in every institution that we interact with. Workplace, or if our children are in school, we fighting with the school about our kids, making sure our kids are safe. At the grocery store, I mean, retail, everywhere. And so we end up with what's called racial battle fatigue. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a cumulative stress injury experienced by Black people. It's the physical, psychological, and behavioral exhaustion caused by chronic exposure. So not just that one time somebody said something to you, but the chronic overtime exposure to systemic racism, discrimination, microaggressions, which happens a lot in the workplace, and racial hostility. I don't know if you are paying attention on social media. That guy just got arrested in Tennessee because he was actually on purpose going out and antagonizing Black people, using the N-word. But I'm starting to see more out, very blatant racism. In this instance, it's not institutional or systemic racism. It's very much intrapersonal, but I'm starting to see more of it. And so when you see those things, and even if it's not you experiencing it, but even you seeing it can also have impact on you directly. So this phrase, racial battle fatigue, was coined in 2003 by critical race theorists. Now y'all know everybody's, we don't like critical race theory. I actually love it. I use it for my dissertation. But it was coined in 2003 by critical race theorist Dr. William Smith. And it likens the persistent stress of navigating racial hostility to the combat stress experienced by soldiers. And like I said, you don't even have to experience it yourself firsthand. You can be witnessing it, see it on social media. You still can have some of those negative impacts. So all those things have impacts on our health and our well-being. So what do we do to heal? How do we get out of this? Got to learn how to slow down. I talked about this last week when we talked about mothers and sort of all the things that they carry. We have to, we always make fun of the Black men. I want somebody to protect my peace. Protect your peace too, sis. Protect your peace too. Okay? Sleep. That is something that is bad for me. I am really bad at sleeping. I don't have problems getting to sleep. What I tend to do is I want to get home, I make my dinner, I want to watch TV and scroll on my phone. It'll be 2-3 o'clock in the morning. There are also instances where I'm up, it's 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I probably should go to sleep. So we have to really be good at getting to sleep because it's really helpful for our bodies to rest. There are studies that show the impacts of institutional racism, specifically, I think it was Black men. Even when Black men are asleep, their stress levels are still high. They're not as high as when they're awake, but they don't drop down as they should in their sleep. So even sleep in some instances is not as protective as we, would like it to be, but you still need to go to sleep and allow your body to rest. Got to step away from constant productivity. Got to find a hobby, find something to do to set yourself away from constantly feeling like you need to be doing something. The other one I'll say before I really close down is community care. Black folk, as a culture, even back in, if you think about in Africa and in some of the countries in Africa, very familial and community focused, right? Like find your friends, be around your family, look for mutual support. I went to a clothes swap. To me, that's an example of mutual support where I have clothes I don't want. You have clothes you don't want. That person has clothes they don't want. Let's put them all on a rack and we're gonna fight capitalism and still get each other. We're gonna have new clothes in our closet, right? Mutual aid. Hey, I have an avocado tree. You have a lemon tree. Can we trade? I don't have any cash, but can we trade that? And I need lemons. I want to make a lemon pie or lemon cake, and you want to make guacamole. Okay, now we've done something, and we've figured out a way to take care of each other without having to use money or whatnot, right? Or, hey, I need a ride to the doctor's office. Can you help me? Absolutely. I'll take care of that for you, right? We have to get back to that. Those are the things that I remember my grandparents and great grandparents doing. Hey, Nicole, go take the avocados down to the lady down the street and leave them on her porch. Knowing your neighbors, those kinds of things are really, really important. Finding support spaces, going to therapy. Now, make sure your therapist is licensed. That's another conversation, but I had to say it. I know y'all been following Miss Bryant and her story, but just make sure your therapist is licensed, y'all. And the last one I'll say is allow yourself to receive care. Allow it. It can be really hard. Me breaking my ankle taught me. Gotta allow people to help you and to show up for you. And the other side of that is when you are able, you now have to be that to somebody else. Don't take from the friendship bank account. Don't just be taking and not putting in deposits. So allow people to help you. And when you are able, do the same thing for somebody else. It's that simple. It's really that simple. All right. So I want you to think about the following things. What signs of exhaustion have you normalized? And think about it. And once you get that list together, start to get them things off your list. This is not normal. I need to go sit down. When was the last time you truly rested? Who supports you emotionally? Get your list together. And what would healing look like for you right now? Important questions for you to reflect on as we think about everything that's happening right now. It's a lot. I ain't finna sit here and lie to you. It's a lot. I don't know what the other side of this is. This actually puts me back to COVID times. There was a time, well, actually many times during the pandemic where I had this really overwhelming feeling of dread, where for me, because I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel, it really got to me. Because I was like, well, when is this ending? Where is the end of this? We can't stay inside forever. Like, this is crazy. And to literally be working through it, that was crazy. So I feel like I'm kind of having that same feeling now. Like, is gas going to be $10? What we doing? Is it going to be 25? Like, where's the end? That's kind of where I'm feeling like, whoa, this is wild. This is wild. But I will say this, and for real, I'm going to stop and then we can go to commercial. We need to think about what our ancestors were doing during the civil rights movement, what they were doing during enslavement, how they saw things through and figured out a way forward. We need to be paying attention to they left us things. They left us books. They left us all sorts of things. We need to start reading again and paying attention because we have the tools. Some of us just don't want to pay attention. So we need to really rely on their wisdom to help us get through this time because we literally are reliving what they've experienced all those years ago. All right, y'all. Let's go to commercial and then we're gonna close on out.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network. All right, let's close on out. The doctor's notes. Listen,
We are going through tough times right now, all of us collectively. I think it's really important. First and foremost, I'm going to say this. You're going to have to do what you got to do, because I'm not going to never shame nobody for hustling and doing what. Do what you have to do to survive. That's the goal, to make it, right? However, and please, to the extent that it's possible for you, think about the impact of that hustle and try your hardest to find ways to rest, to rejuvenate, and to get into community and find community care. Because ultimately, those things are going to be the things that sustain you. The hustle will burn you out. Think about the car example. Think about sitting up in that car and revving that engine up and just revving it. It's going to fail eventually. And the same thing will happen to you eventually. So how can you take care of yourself to the best of your ability now so that you will be here in the future? And I want to make sure you're here. I want to be here. I want you to be here. As Black women, we do so much. We give so much. Oftentimes I look on social media and see us in our joy, and I'm like, the world does not deserve us at all. So in all of that, do what you got to do. Think about how you can also take care of yourself in the process. There were some things I said throughout this podcast that hopefully will be helpful to you. And yeah, we gonna make it. We're gonna push through. We're gonna push through though with some care added to it, and we'll be all right, y'all. All right. All right. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening, watching, talking, thinking, pondering with me on all of this that's happening. You know where to find me. I have a beautiful website, www.NicoleDVick.com. I have all sorts of things on there. You can see podcast episodes that I've been on, other folks' podcasts. You can see this podcast there. My books are there. I have 3 beautiful books, actually more than 3 technically, but my first one is Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. I mean, it might be helpful to read that right now because it was some lessons in there. The second one is a journal, also another good one for this time. Things are happening. We're in some hard times. So push through 52 weeks of light in tough times. And I would say these are tough times. And then the last one is Triumph in the Trenches for Black professionals trying to navigate the workplace. And y'all, we trying to navigate it. Either we're in it, trying to work it and stay working, or we're laid off and trying to figure out how to get back in. Whatever it is, that book is also helpful for you in that time. I am on social media. I took a break on LinkedIn. I don't know. I just felt like it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a break for 1 week. And so I'll be back next week on LinkedIn, but I have plenty of content there if you want to look at it. I'm also on Instagram. Dr. VICKtorious is my Instagram. And my personal Instagram is Nicole D Vick, where you can just see me talking about gas prices and whatever else I'm talking about on there. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Next week we'll run a rerun, and then June we're gonna have some really great guests coming back. So this way, this next month you can see me talk to other people, not just talk to you. Yeah. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.